right. Who was that first spiritual experience you'd like to share with us?
I have one to share.
Very good.
So a couple of days ago, I had a dream that I was on the beach, and I saw something streaking overhead, and actually it was like twilight. I was on the beach. It was, like after sunset, before dawn, kind of twilight. It was dark. It wasn't broad daylight, but the beach was packed. There was a lot of people out there, and something came streaking overhead, and looking like a shooting star, but it was kind of veiled, like with clouds and stuff. So it was dropping, and the closer it descended to the surface, we realized that it wasn't that far from us on the beach, and we were actually able to hear the splash when they hit the water and see the waves. But it didn't cause any major waves, but people did start to panic. A couple people screamed and whatnot. So I, sensing the tension, decided to break it. I just started cheering and clapping, yay, and getting excited, getting everybody excited, and other people started joining in, and that broke the tension, and that lasted for a hot second. And then I looked to my left, and I noticed something else in the sky, and I noticed there was a whole bunch of these things coming down over the land behind us. And there was also like this black pillar of smoke veiling these ones that were coming over the land. So I could kind of see them coming down, but they were kind of veiled as well with like some black smoke. And then the sky was kind of orange and hazy.
A little louder, son, so we can hear you.
Over the land it was orange. Over the land it was orange and hazy. But over the water it was more clear, and it was just a whole bunch of these things dropping down over the land. Whatever they were, we couldn't tell what it was. It looked like a shooting star or something, but we just couldn't tell.
That sounds familiar because I think it was in Pennsylvania last week, about the time you had the vision, that it was on the news, repeated about green balls of light coming down to the earth, and they said, reminded them of meteors. And then people kept calling in saying they saw 10-foot tall green beings in their backyards and walking around. Also, it was a very heavy alien presence in Las Vegas last week, too.
Right,
Ryan said, back. All right, glad to hear your voice. All right, glad to hear your voice.
Too.
Amun-Rayay and the 144,000 gallons. We just glad you're here. And like I said, it was about 10 feet tall. The police got around, what have you, but it kind of cloaked itself and it disappeared. That's the last thing I heard about it. But it seems to me that there's some type of invasion event happening right now with these extraterrestrials because they're making their presence known a lot more frequently than they used to. And they're coming pretty close and they're not shy about it. That's why it's so really important for us to start transitioning and making that journey within, because I suspect that they're not all agreeable. And like Malachi said he don't eat people, but he got friends that do. So I will take this very seriously and make sure that you're not on the menu, the MEN-U, right? And to transform yourself into a spiritual being and make that journey within, mute your phone, son. Star 6, please. So we can't hear the noise, please. You follow what I mean? In the spirit, you can't be harmed. You're not as vulnerable. You're not vulnerable like you are in the physical. In fact, I saw myself as a spiritual entity about 2 weeks ago in a very clear vision. And I was sitting down, dressed in white, a long jalabia. My hair was shorter, but my back was turned, to me when I was sitting down. But you could see the aura around me, a blue and green aura. And the jalabia I had on almost looked cloud-like. But I was a spiritual being But I don't want you all to think of it as something like spooky or mystical, because you have to know that all of us are whole light beings inside. You all have an inner vision, inner hearing, inner heart. So then when you think about who is that that's looking when your physical eyes are closed, then you know that there's somebody inside of you that's a conscious and cognizant being that's whole, and without it, your physical form can't survive. But it can survive your physical form without the physical form. So you know that your body in reality is an illusion. It's like a fungus clinging to the light. It's like a car without the driver. And know that spiritual and soulful, the real trinity, the Ankh Ban Ka, the etheric, soul, and spiritual aspect of you, that is the real you. Like I told you before, if all of you can imagine a place to sit in the room you're in right now that's empty. Imagine if I put your etheric aspect over there, your soul over there, your spirit over there, your personality over there, your memories, your feelings, your emotions, and all your thoughts. What would be left on the phone here with us? Simple. Nothing. Just an empty vessel that will soon break down because the amalgamate or the glue that holds it together is that life force over there, the real you. The thing is when you analyze everything that constitutes the real you, your soul, your spirit, your memories, your thoughts, emotions, and feelings, etc., none of it's tangible. It doesn't belong to this physical realm. It's nothing that you can see, so you don't have a gender, such as male or female. You don't have a race. You don't have an age or any particular look. You can't be seen, and that's the aspect of you that's God. Because as you know, you can't see God in the physical. But whatever it is that's unseen, all the seen comes from that. Again, like when you look in the Bible and it says that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things yet unseen. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were formed by the word of God, so that things that are seen were not made by things which do appear. The simple breakdown for that is when you hoped for that first certain toy or that first car or bicycle, you thought about it day and night, you obsessed about it, and you were actually, with your imagination, creating the image in your mind. And your faith or belief in the fact that you would receive it, it was the substance of what you hoped for. So faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things that at that point still remained unseen. So that the day that bicycle was out there and you really saw it and you got on it and rode it, it appeared to be made out of rubber and metal, but it was actually made out of your faith and belief in it. And if it was a car, I don't care if it had 3 tones and ball tires, when you drove your hoopty down the street, you started seeing a lot more cars just like the one you were driving, and you never saw that before. Because your faith was empowered and recreating that image over and over again. And then would further to say that through faith, we understand that the worlds were formed, being the sun, moon, and stars in your hand, by the word of God, so that things that are seen, such as your hand, the stars and moon, were not made by things which do appear. Meaning that if you go outside tonight, and you can point to the moon if I ask you, or to the stars, say they're over there, Amun, there it is right there, but that was what was created. That's what was made. But if I ask you to point to the Creator and say, there He is over there He is right there, you can't do that. So we've established that everything that was created or made is part of the physical realm, and you can see it and touch it. It's tangible. You can point to it and say, there it is. But the Creator that put the stars there, you can't point to Him and say, there He is, because He's unseen. Which means the real question is, in your mind, which is realest, the creation or the creator of it? And what would be your honest answer? What's realest?
Creator.
That's exactly. The creator is realer than the
creator of it.
Exactly. But now we just established that the creator, the seen is realer than the unseen. You follow? Because the Creator is unseen, and everything that was created is seen and touched and part of the physical realm. Whereas what you call the devil is trying to convince people that the only thing real is the things that you can see and touch. When we see right now that the reverse is really the truth. The things that are unseen are real, and it's the place that things that are seen comes from. You follow what I'm saying? That's the reality that we have to reconnect ourselves with to break this spell. To be in the world, but not of the world. Are you following me? Thank you for your spiritual experience, Katat. That was really powerful, and it's really timely. The world is ready for this now. Oh, most of us are. All right, now who has that spiritual experience or that first question, family? In this question and answer.
I have a question.
I'll do my best.
I got a question.
Sure.
I had sent you a video off of YouTube a couple of days ago,
but
and I was wondering if you guys.
I don't. My computer. Remember, one of these agents came in from the charter company and deleted my Windows, so my computer is black. I don't have a computer access right now. You follow? I have two perfectly good computers. Yeah, so that's why I'm not sending out posts right this second. But believe me, when they try to close the door, we always open the window. So that's why I ask you all to send in donations right now, because we need your support and your help. And I would like to thank Amanda right now for she just sent $200. You know, to try to help. And that cause is very important that I get back online. So support us right now. We needed help before that, but it's dire right now. Okay? Get this mission back on track.
Okay, well, that's fine. The post that I sent was about the Senate getting together, and you could actually see two aliens. Well, it was like maybe about 4 aliens in there, sitting down in the seats and standing up behind the podium.
I believe that. Oh yeah, you did see it too. Mm-hmm. I know one time, this was about a year ago, I saw a collage, a picture of the Republican Senate, and every one of them crackers was nothing but demons, straight demons. There was not a humanoid in the picture. They were just all literal demons. Evil demons. You can see they were the personification in the deepest, purest, existential sense of the word, just devils. And that's all they were. I mean, so ugly like they could break daylight with a stick. Looking like gorillas sucking on a lemon in the back of a horror show. I mean, they were ugly and evil. But look at them, you know, like Putin, the way he's supposed to be attacking the country unjustly, and he's not fighting against soldiers. He's used most of his armaments and bombs to destroy cities and populations of men, women, and children, civilians. You follow me? Dropping bombs on baby and clinics with cancer and this type of horrible thing. And what they're trying to do is desensitize the public. They got so much mass shootings where they're running in elementary schools and killing babies and doing this type of thing and blowing them up, where they can't even be identified by their parents without DNA tests. Where that, you know, it's like a everyday occurrence, 2 and 3 times a day sometimes they got mass shootings, running in supermarkets and churches and synagogues and just shooting people where they stand well, you can't go to Walmart, you can't shop or make, you know, just everywhere. You know, to try to desensitize you and make you think that this is a normal way to live, and it's not. Don't get used to that. But they're trying to prepare you for some type of a tragic event, because they got staging areas all over the place, closing down Walmarts that are very viable and making $1 billion a year to clear them out, where they can make these coffins that you see piled up by the thousands, especially in major metropolitan areas, that are capable of holding three bodies each, and bullet trains and gas chambers, and the facilities there, you know, that they got 2 double-decker trains with ankle bracelets and handcuffs on it to take people and gather them in it. And you know, you don't have to be that keen to understand that that's done predominantly for black people. Now, there's a lot of people that are under the spell and going to say the government wouldn't do that. They wouldn't cut off SSI or support for children or Medicare or Obamacare. They wouldn't do that. Or they wouldn't put people in internment camps and gas them and this type of thing. Well, that's what the Jews thought in Adolf Hitler's Nazi Germany, Trump. That's what they thought. And I don't know who they thought they were building them camps for, but it wasn't for Germans. And they was pushing them in them holes by the millions with bulldozers and stacking them up and covering them up like eggplants, naked without gold teeth or anything, using their hair to stuff pillows. So don't you think that in this country that all these pre-dug graves and concentration camps and what have you, and you can look up FEMA on YouTube, and I'm telling you to bring your seatbelts inside with you because it's going to be breathtaking. And know that this is all for you, so you better come out of it and stay close to us. That's the real truth, and I'm not trying to be dismal or bring you any negative or bad news, but I'm here to bring you the truth. And I pray, like John 8:32, that the truth will make you free. All right. Now, what is that next spiritual experience or question? Hold on. I don't need no ice. All right. The next question or spiritual experience.
I have a question.
I'll do my best.
Okay, you've been preparing us and taking steps to go to the new heaven and the new earth. But can you explain, once this body decays, will we come back like we've been back before? Will that still occur or no, because it's the third and final conflict?
Okay, it won't be, there's no such thing as reincarnation. You reincarnate in the same carnal body, all right?
Right.
Like depicted reincarnation of Peter Proud. No,
okay.
But know this. When you say come back, the reality of it is that you never will leave because you are immortal beings. Once you establish in your mind that the only real presence here is the Creator, and He is alone on His magnificent throne. So before He said, let there be light, in which you all are the Creator, or extensions thereof, like the tentacles on an octopus, you have to be the Creator because that's the only thing here. And the difference between what was created and the Creator of it can never be breached. There's a void that you can never breach. The difference is unbreachable because everything created has a beginning and therefore it has an end. But the Creator has neither beginning or end. That's just one of the differences that can never be breached. So the part of you that belongs to the Creator, and I'm talking about your body or the physical aspect of you, that's the illusion. But the real you, the Ankh, Ba, and Ka, the real Trinity, the etheric aspect, the soul and the spirit, He said He created man of sound and clay of black mud, fashioned in the shape. When He had made complete His form, He blew into His nostrils of His breath, and thus man became a living soul by the Spirit binding to the mud. Right?
Sure.
So what I'm saying is that the only thing that's real about any of you is the Creator inside of you, the inner being. That third eye that's looking out when your physical eyes are closed and you sleep at night and you still see things in your dreams. Or you can close your eyes right now and see the front of your house, the way it looks when you approach it, or your car parked outside in the driveway. And you can see the future, the past. That is the all-seeing eye, or better yet, the eye of all. Fa'ut, Kulum. That's the real you, and the only thing that is real, and everything else is mere illusion.
Yes.
And the primary attribute of all is divine love. That's the only reality. You follow? And anything outside of that is an illusion, a fast-fading illusion. So when He said there'll be a new heaven and a new earth, and the former things will pass away, That's exactly what's happening right now. When you look around the world, you can see people die, especially look up, Google, white people are dying faster than they're being born. Don't believe me? Check it out. White people are dying faster than they're being born, and they're not the only ones. There'll be plagues and wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes in diverse places, floods, and this weather. It's going to be so hot this summer, it's going to be uncomfortable for Melanite people even. And other people are going to be just dropping dead from the scorching heat. Right? Forest fires, just like you had in Canada, from the east to the west coast, that are so intense that the smoke is coming down and suffocating people in the lower 48, blocking out the sky. So, you know, the weather conditions are horrendous, horrible, and they're getting worse faster. And as the temperature rises, the polar caps melt, and you know that that's fresh water going down into the ocean, which is salt water or brine, salt water. And you have deep conveyor belts in the ocean of this cold water that circulates around the planet, around the tropical zones, like the Cape of Good Hope around Africa and Australia and all of these equatorial places where you have extreme temperatures. And it helps regulate the heat and regulate the temperature and make it moderate around the planet to cool it off in hot places. But the more that this boulder caps melt and the fresh water falls down into those brine trenches real heavy, and this places that trench line, and it stops it from rotating around the earth. And what does that do? When it's no longer able to circulate that cold water around to cool off and moderate the temperature and equalize it, it intensifies the rate that the heat is increasing. And it makes the poles melt even more. And as the water gets deeper, it starts reclaiming the shores. So you see places like Florida and Louisiana and Carolina and Italy and all these places where the water's coming up on the land faster and faster and deeper. You got flooding everywhere, places you never had it before, because the soil is porous, like a sponge. It's not solid. And all that water is creating underground rivers, right? So that in places, especially like Florida, because Miami is going to soon be Miami, is being absorbed. And you got a lot of these holes in the ground because these underground rivers are displacing the soil and disturbing the integrity of structures above, like houses, and they falling down. And what do you call those things, those holes in the ground?
The sinkholes.
Exactly. They're just falling, houses and whole blocks are just falling down. Trucks and cars driving along the road, and all of a sudden it collapses and they fall down 40 feet. Some people disappear and they never find them again. These sinkholes are so deep because you got these underground rivers and torrents running so fast that they're removing all the soil. And as grounds get more and more porous, and what that also does is because you have so much water in the soil that when it does rain, and it rains a lot heavier than it used to do, there's no way for the ground to absorb the water because it's already saturated. So that exacerbates it, makes the floods come even worse and a lot more intense. It's getting deeper and deeper. I swear by Noah, it's not a joke. And you know, things are becoming real lean right here. Even when you go to the supermarket, you find that you can't see products that you used to see a few years ago. You look for a lot of things you want to buy, and the shelves seem to be getting skimpier and skimpier. And the names on the products have changed from Jiffy to Jiffy, etc. Because you see, all the energy is draining out of this dimension and flowing into the fifth dimension and higher. Because this world is fading away, folding up like an old lawn chair, and everybody's going to be left behind is going to what you call hell. They're going to be left behind and cut off into the eternal pit of blackness. No light, no love, no sustenance, just pain and suffering and gnashing of teeth. And this is a real thing. Well, we're gathering here for Star Movers. We're gathering here, Star Movers, to help guide people. Like Panabab Yanun told me on the phone, he would say, "Don't forget that you and I have to finish raising 144,000." Lamona, I'm glad you're here. You all, I know some of you all, Terry, if you're here, you remember Lamona from New Orleans. I'm glad you're here, Lamona. And I'm sorry you missed the first part of the class because it really was interesting. But and I hope you got 1,000 questions. But like I said, all the energy and resources are flowing away from this three-dimensional hologramic light show into the fifth and sixth planes and the higher vibratory planes of existence. So that means that you have to learn, as Panabab Yanun told you, to turn yourself inside out, added, in your perspective of who and what you are. Because you have to start identifying with the real Trinity, the Ankh, Ba, and Ka, the soul, spirit, and etheric aspect of yourself, as this is the real me. It's not the thing you're looking at in the mirror. It's the third eye inside of you that's looking out at the flesh. The one inside of your body. God is in the temple. But it's not a building down the street. The temple is the place on the side of your head next to your ears. And your eyes are windows to the soul. God is that inner voice that told you don't pull up that old lady's flowers, or the one that's talking to you in the kitchen when you're undecided about what to eat. You go back and forth like the carnal devil on one shoulder and the angel on the next. Pig for the salad, till you talk out loud and your friends or your children hear you and say, "Mom, who are you talking to?" And then you laugh and say, "I'm in here talking to myself." But that I, make that I single again, whole. That is God telling the devil or the carnal aspect of you, the physical aspect of you, no, you don't need that pig foot. Eat that salad. It's better for you. But you were blessed to have a free will. So it's called self-determination. You can decide whether you want to be agreeable or disagreeable, or just, in other words, give in to the cravings of the body, to the carnal self, and be a slave to Satan, or you want to do the right thing and be like a bird that when commanded you fly south without a map and obey the Most High, end up in paradise, or do you want to be left behind like all the other hard-headed nigger birds and be on your back with your feet up in the air, frozen in the wintertime because you thought you could do your own thing. And you don't need to hear anything from no spirit or nothing. You don't need to deal with the unseen. Well, the unseen is the only reality, okay? So back to your question again, if you could reshape it and approach it again, maybe I can throw a little bit more light and blind corners for you.
No, that was perfect. Thank you, Messiah. I appreciate that.
I love you. Very good. All right, next question on spiritual experience. Amanda, are you here? I know you just called me up and had some questions for me. I asked you to hold them till class. Sky, you got those questions?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is, are some of us significant beings or deities?
Yes,
Here.
you're asking, are some of us significant beings or are we deities or gods?
I guess both questions.
Yes, and the answer is yes, but I have to qualify that with potentially. We're potentially gods. Please stop making noise on the phone. That's not God.
I'm going to mute. That's the car behind me. I'm going to mute. I'm sorry. Hold on.
All right. Yes, we are all gods because there's nothing else here except God. But you have the free will to make bad decisions and choose your carnal illusion and make that your God. Right? Some people worship mammon, which is money. Some people worship sex or drugs. Some people worship food. They worship their appearance, their beauty, their husband, or their talents. They have a lot of things they worship other than the real creator, the unseen, living God. Are you following me? And that's unfortunate because all those things are temporal and they do perish. Right? we have to learn, those of you that are strong enough and willing to make the uphill climb, to turn yourselves inside out in your perspective of who and what you are. And don't be in that crowd of fools that when you come with that spiritual, oh, there you go, that spiritual stuff again. I don't believe in nothing I can't see and touch right there. I only believe in things I can see and touch. Well, you be in grave error, because all the things you can see and touch are an illusion. Trust what I tell you, because I can prove it to you. Yes, you are gods, potentially. Again, all of you close your eyes that really want to see if you got it or not right now. Now, when you see that blackness, I want you to use your imagination. Of course, the first word is image. And remember that bright summer day when you were driving your car and you turned the corner and that sunlight hit you in your eyes so bright, the glare blinded you and you got scared you was going to cross the line and have access, so you had to pull the visor down to keep driving. Now, look and see that sun, that bright sun right now with your mind's eye. You can do that. Remember that? Now see that bright sun when you turn that corner again. You all can do that, and you're doing it now, right? Okay. Now, when you see that bright sun again, I want you to realize the reality that inside of your cranium is triple darkness, like in the womb. There is no light inside of your head. It's pitch black, triple darkness. So when you saw that light, I'm going to ask you, who created that? Who created that light that you just saw in your mind? You did, right.
You created.
So you see, you did. So you're the one that said, let there be light. Ped lux. In Latin, let there be light. Sabbath and Noah, light. It was you. You are that God. You hear me, Amanda? That's why all of you here with me are moving stars and seeing your own spiritual. How many of you have seen your spirit on blue light healing spiritual classes that you had with me, and I walked you through it, and you saw your own spirit perspiring through your skin around your fingers and arms, and you can see it, that blue light.
I did.
Exactly. So we know that, of course, and you know when you saw your spirit, you didn't see it with your physical eyes because it's not part of this realm. That means that you reactivated your pineal gland or your third eye that was once calcified like a hard rock or a raisin. When you were born, it was like a big fluid grape, and it was alive. And you can see things in the spirit, like a little baby that grins at things in the corner that you can't see. Just like a puppy or a dog that runs into a corner of a house that's empty to you, and their hair raised up on their back, and they barking in that corner, they all excited. You know that dog don't have no bills. He ain't having no nervous breakdown. He ain't crazy. That dog is seeing something that you can't see and hearing things that you can't hear. That's when he's barking. And he ain't barking at no empty corner. It's empty to you because you a fallen angel. And you done fell down from the spiritual plane or from the heavens down to this gross physical matter, solid, excellent, time-bound, like a lizard laying on the asphalt of life. Like that white woman, you done fell and you scared you can't get up. And your inner being, your mind's eye, then closed up and locked up and turned to a stone, and you can't see what that baby or that dog or spiritual master sees anymore. Because you done fell so low, you done got cut off you in the pit. You need guidance and help from the spiritual master that was sent here as your guide to wake you up before times get beyond repair. That's who I am, and that's why I'm here. I'm your servant. To help light your way back to the Most High before it's too late. Tick-tock, and time is running out fast. All right. Next question.
I have a question, sorry.
I'll do my best.
Can you give us some pointers of successfully turn ourselves inside out? Some keys.
I'm sorry, you gotta be a lot clearer. You kind of muffled up, son.
Can you give us some pointers of successfully turn ourselves inside out? Some of the keys we can use.
Yes, I can give you some pointers on that. A lot of you here, when you get spiritual packages, I have sent some of you battery-operated candles. Aren't you one of those people, Kim?
Yes.
All right. The thing is, when you get these packages, do you use them or just put them on the TV and let them collect dust? With those candles, you get comfortable in a chair, keep your spine straight, feet about 2 feet apart, put your hands on your knees, and you breathe deeply 7 times and exhale, visualizing the blue light going into your nostrils. And you raise your vibration up quickly. And you stare in the darkness at that flame, directly at it, and you study that flame, and you just get total concentration on that flame. Study the colors on it. The red, the blue, the amber. And be curious as to how is it flickering when there's no wind blowing in the room. And you start noticing about the colors that closest to the wick of a candle, it's going to burn the hottest, so the colors will be blue inside it, the wick and heating on the outside fringes where it's coolest around the edge. It'll be amber and red. That's why reptilians have amber and red auras, because they're cold-blooded and they're further from the source, and they don't have a lot of heat source inside them. That's why you find old black men have a lot of reptile in them sometimes, and they, in the summertime or in the wintertime especially, they got on more clothes than they should. Long johns and long sleeve shirts in the summertime when it's hot, you can't understand it. And they standing with their back to the heater, full blast, with their hand behind their back, and they rocking with all that heat and the paint cracking on the wall, and you suffocate. You can't even breathe to catch your breath. It's so hot. You can see the heat waving off it like heat waving off railroad tracks in the summertime. And they just as comfortable as they can be, and you can't understand how come they're not actually cooking. Because that nigga is cold-blooded. He's a reptile. That's why he likes to suck them eggs raw and all that. You follow what I mean? Yes, it is. Yeah, them reptiles. You hear what I'm saying? Fallen angels. They done dropped a long way, and they cold-blooded right now. But this doctrine is your heat. So draw up close and don't leave, because you won't have time to come back if you do. This train is leaving the station. You follow me?
Follow.
Yes, I love you. And you know
we
better
than,
yeah, I know you do. You know better than all people that you received the healing from me that from something critical, like a lot of people here. You follow me? And so you know that the spiritual power is real. It's not just moving stars to put on. It's not. Yeah, it is true. It's not just moving stars to put on a show to show off or what have you. And a lot of people have to say, well, why do you move stars all the time, Amun? All in Africa and London and all around the world. Well, that's proof and confirmation of who we are. And stars are the only things that I can think of that's high enough in the sky for people to see from any place on the planet Earth. Because like I said, when you're trying to convince people of who you are and who sent you, if you levitate in your room right now, that's proof that you were sent. But nobody can see it but you, so it's not really proof to them. You follow me? You have to show people because they don't want to believe in anything spiritual like that already. They're so engrossed in the spell and so carnal and physical, they're completely cut off. Don't you see what I mean? They don't even know what light is anymore or the creator. They done lost their way. They're cut off. They done lost their connection. Do you follow what I'm saying? And they're in grave danger. And if you love them, reach for them. But know this, don't be disappointed if you lead the horses to water and they don't drink. Because we all know logically, if people have been drinking that dirty water all their life, and you put a clean glass of water next to it, you know what they should do. But sometimes, like a dog returning to his own vomit, they return back to that dirty water, don't they? Remember that song? She don't want to
Yes.
be saved. She don't want to be. Yeah, it's true. But don't let it just disturb you that deeply, because a lot of times these creatures they're conscious of what they're doing, and they'll stand in front of you and ask you questions all day long, and they know they have no intentions of following the truth anyway. But they're looking over your shoulder at a brother or sister that's pacing back and forth patiently, because they have real questions for you, and they really want to make it. And they'll ask you them stupid questions and come with that doubt and stuff until them people that serious leave and walk away, then the devil walk off. And here you done lost a real soul fooling with that clown that they were created for hell all the time anyway. You follow me? Some people was destined for hell. They was created to fall out that airplane, or you follow what I'm saying? Or get hit by that car. It was destiny. Because everybody here is not real anyway. You have a lot of people. The majority of people here on this planet are just feeling. They're not real souls, and they don't possess a soul. They don't even know what that is. You follow? And some are just clones. Because every one of you have 7 clones. And how do you know that you're not one of the clones? You and your clone are the same being, in that sometimes you can be walking and get a strong sharp pain in your side. What was that? And you might have a clone that might be in Budapest, Hungary, and they just walked into a stick and stuck themselves in the side, and you felt that pain. But which one of y'all the real one, and who's the clone? Well, know that the clone is accident prone. They're clumsy. They're extremely arrogant, and they know it all. You can't tell them nothing. The clone is basically an asshole. That's one of the ways you'll know you're not the original or the real thing, right? But you're the fake one. I'm sorry. All right, next question. Those of you that have the book, The Wisdom of Tahuti, get it out tonight, because we're going to walk through those pages as well. It's time to refresh. We're looking for those questions. This is a question and answer class. I'll do my best.
I have a question.
Okay.
How can we ground ourselves in the new Earth, 5D?
Well, for you, it should be an easy thing, because I took you to, what planet did I take you to in the past? To Risk, that's right.
To Risk.
Exactly. I took you there, and I took other people other places, to the Crystal City, to Nibiru, and these places, these things are very real. But to the people that are carnal, they think it's just foolishness and it's just a lie. You follow what I'm saying? Isn't that sad? They don't care about things that they can't see. And I'll tell you something. The Riskians teach their children that Earth and the people on it are not real. It's just mythology. And you say, why would they do that? And they have that lofty intellect and they know all these things. The reason why they teach their children that you're not real is because you teach yours that they're not real. You see what I mean? That's right. All right. Now, you want to know some of the ways that we could... One of the ways you can tell that you're advancing spiritually is simple. If you start to eat more salads than you do meat or carrion or dead animals. If you're starting to park your car blocks away from your destination so you can get out and walk on a nice day. If you're becoming less carnal and more spiritual and putting down cigarettes and bad habits, and your God is getting stronger, you see what's happening is this, to make that shift. You were sent here with 180 degrees symbolically of negative knowledge or intellect and 180 degrees of positive. And the free will that balances two natures, so you can decide which one preponderates or rules inside of you. So the agreeable people, the good ones that's going to make it, their 180 degrees of positive overcomes their 180 degrees of negative, and they transform into 360 degrees of positive. That's God. Which is not the end, it's the beginning of the journey, because then the 360 divides against itself into 360 agreeable and 360 disagreeable, and the same struggle goes on again. That inner war goes on again until optimally your 360 degrees of positive overcomes the 360 degrees of negative, and you become 720, which should be the end, but it's only another beginning, because all of you have a counterpart, like Panabab Yanun is my counterpart, and they have to grapple against one another until the 720 and 720 merge into 144. So you see, you're not necessarily trying to raise up 144,000 individuals. We're trying to raise up individuals to 1440 degrees of knowledge. Do you follow me? Because it's not going to necessarily be that many people, but it might be more, I pray. Behold, I looked at Mount Zion, and there stood a Lamb, and with him 144,000, with their father's name written in their foreheads, meaning that their third eye had been reopened again, and we retrieved the once lost but now found tribe of lost souls of the children of the tribes of Israel. Okay? Now, if that didn't answer your question directly, you just rearrange your question and approach it again, and then I'll deal directly with it. But sometimes I have to stop and just address the whole class. All right?
I have a question regarding that question, Amun.
All right.
Okay, you said that we do the 180 within ourselves, overcoming the 180 of disagreeable to be 360.
Right.
Then it flips out again to 360 agreeable, 360 disagreeable.
And transform to 720.
Right. Okay. Where are we at that point? And then the 720 and the 720, which is the 144, is that us and our counterpart, or?
Well, that's
not
the 720 is. Yeah, the 720 and 720, that's Panabab Yanun and I.
Okay.
We are transforming into that being, this very special being. And when we merge with the 720, we become this one unique individual supreme being that brings two universes together, the higher and the lower. You follow?
Okay.
And then everything opens up into this beautiful paradise that's breathtaking and beyond description, that all of you would desperately want to be a part of if you only but knew. All right?
So the 360 and the 360.
Now, if you want me to explain that about I can take you all to the Holy Tablets and show you I can really illuminate this transformation to 720 if you really want to know more.
Yes,
go ahead. You were saying?
Yes, I guess where I don't understand is the part where after we overcome 180, the 360 and 360, does our counterpart come into play with that at all, or no, not at all, not at any point?
All right. I'm sorry I didn't understand you right then.
Does our counterpart, you and Panabab, come together at 720 and 720, like you said, and create paradise?
1440, yeah. Two universes will come together and merge, right.
So before that, does our counterpart have any role of moving toward that 144?
Yes. Let me say this, and this might seem a long way from the question, but it'll come together. Panabab Yanun always had these houses where he had all the sisters that were supposed to be his wives, right? And I don't know if that was in a sexual way or not, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
Either shallow, and a lot of the sisters that were approved to move into the house with those sisters Nasir was the most recent one as the head over the house. And when they would knock on the door with their luggage to move in, she would open the door and tell them, look, we need you to know right now when you step over this threshold that we all in here live inside of Malachi's mind. Are you following me? I told you all that I'm in all in what? All is in me. So if all is in you, there's nothing outside of you. So this is a mental universe, a mental multiverse. All creation is mental, is consciousness, is thought. Is thought. That's why, how many of you all have seen me move the entire creation, all the stars in heaven, any way that you asked me to do it?
Yes.
I have.
You see me do it a lot of times, over and over again, all right? Well, that's the whole, right. Well, I'm moving the whole creation because he and I are one. So what I'm saying is that as above, so below. But suppose he, learned a lot more control about the physical plane, and he controls people and things in the same way. Suppose that all of you are inside of our mind, like he said in Patarak, count one, count them not. When he said the Big Bang exploded out of the pupil of the eye of Amun-Rayay, myself. So all existence came out of our mind, and everything and everybody is inside of our mind. Are you following what I'm saying? So if he's agreeable, that's a wonderful thing, because he would guide people into doing good things and having positive thoughts and heavenly lives. But what if all his thoughts weren't agreeable? What kind of world would you be living in? What kind of life would you have? Look back at your past and reflect on that. Save the babies, right? But now, the thing is with he and I, you got to remember with angelic beings, we differ from human beings in that, and I'm a chimera, I have three parents. One of my parents is the angel Gabriel, right? But in the angelic realm, it's not like we have the spiritual essence inside of us where you have the agreeable and disagreeable inside of you fighting against itself. But we are separate individuals, all the way agreeable or all the way disagreeable, and those two angels have to grapple until one overcomes the other. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that way, we'll both be either agreeable or disagreeable for the duration. And that's what's happening now. And you see that war breaking out, not just inside of you, but a reflection of it in the whole world that you think is out there. But it's not. It's all in your mind, even the stars and the moon. So when I'm moving the moon and put your face in it, I'm not really moving the moon. I'm moving my mind, like the boy said on The Matrix. Neil asked him, said, how you bending that spoon? He said, I'm not bending the spoon. I'm simply bending my mind. Are you following what I'm saying? And all of you have counterparts. That's what you're grappling against, if it's agreeable or disagreeable. And again, you can tell if your agreeable side is winning because you're starting to drop bad habits. You're starting to pick up a better diet. You're starting to be more agreeable and inquisitive. You're starting to draw closer to the light. You're being curious and want to come to this class. You're starting to gravitate toward the gods and not the devil, sinking deeper and deeper into that abyss, into that black hole. You're trying to wake yourself up and follow your better angels. You follow me? That's how you know. Look at your life. How is it changing, or is it changing? Are you even curious? Once you know better, then you can begin to do better, right?
Right.
So it starts with asking questions and not being arrogant like you know everything already. Because whatever you think you learn from out there and the internet and all these different things, it's all an illusion because there is no out there. The only ones that can guide you through creation and the cosmos and through eternity are the ones that were sent to you from the source. Because nobody knows everything about creation except the one that created it. Are you following me? None of these men and women that you're listening to out there can tell birds how to find south without a map, can they? Or if you take them, if you think they wise, put them out in the middle of the woods and blindfold them and spin around in a circle and then take off the blindfold and tell them, say, now point south. They can't do it. What do you mean, that they don't have as much sense as a bird? And you go take their word for your eternity? What fools these mortals be, right? Be careful. Very careful. Forever's a long time. And there's a lot of people, unfortunately, they don't come to us in these classes to find out divine truth or to have proven facts. What they really come for is to hear confirmation of their already preconceived, erroneous, weak beliefs. You follow that? It's like two sisters going around, if they're Christians, from church to church, trying to find a church home. And then all of a sudden, 8 churches later, they come home. I found my church home. I found it. I finally found a pastor. I know 30 minutes into the sermon, I was at home. Let me translate. What they really mean is I finally found a preacher that's saying what I want to hear and agreeing with the things I believe. Mm-hmm. Like a man going out looking for religion, he chooses to be a Muslim because you can have 7 wives. Or a person want to be a Catholic because you can eat pork and drink alcohol and gamble. You see, so they're not looking to recreate themselves in the image and likeness of God. These clouds out here trying to create God in their own image and likeness. I don't think you heard what I said with your good ear. Is anybody hearing what I'm saying tonight? This is revelation knowledge now. I'm telling you what people are doing. They're not out here striving to be recreated in the image and likeness of God, El-Hayu, the real creator, the life giver. They're out here trying to create a God in their image and likeness. They need a feel-good religion or belief. They're trying to find something that will assuage their feelings, that will line up with their thoughts and beliefs, make them feel comfortable, and allow them to exercise all their lower angels. You know, a man with 7 wives, if he's vivacious or whatever like that, now he thinks that's heaven to him. And he found God. A woman that loves pork, she's happy as, a felock in a Catholic church, and all the rest of these Christian churches, you can eat all the pork you want. You can drink and smoke. These Catholic priests smoke cigarettes and drink whiskey and gamble all up in the church. Call it bingo if you want. It's gambling. You follow? And people that want to live that lifestyle, they want to be lush drinkers and smokers and cussing and gambling and doing this type of thing. Then they want to be Episcopalian or a Catholic. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Well, you should be really seeking for the real truth and then try to model yourself after that. If you're looking for the real one sent from the Creator, know the one sent from the Creator were all sent with a calling card. They have the ability to perform miracles and do things that mortal people can't do. And once you see any one of those miracles, bow down to it and don't you ever leave again. And snatch away and return like a dog to his own vomit. Don't do it. Because that was your proof from God, a mercy from Him to show you, meaning that you were chosen. He chose you to reveal that miracle too. Do you respect it? Do you appreciate it? Or will you be a hard-hearted wretch and turn your head and walk off with a stiff neck and walk into that flame wide-eyed? Will you do that? You see, a lot of people are lonely in this world. They feel cut off and unsatisfied and unfulfilled. They think it's a cold world out here. Now, if you could imagine that the Creator is a ball of beautiful light, the light of the heavens and the earth, and everything emanates from that ball of light. Divine love and sustenance and everything good comes out that light, and we all stand around that light, and we bask in the rays of the Most High and receive all these blessings. Well, the unbeliever, there is none so blind as he or she who refuses to see. They turn their back on that light and step back away from it. And the further they walk away from it, the darker and the colder their reality is. It's not that the Creator's turned his back on them. They're turning their back on the Creator. Don't you see that? That's right. They're turning their back on the real Creator and trying to create a God in their image and likeness. Whatever that God is. And that's the source of their pain, the cause of their misery. That's it. Now, I'm not trying to come here tonight and make people feel uncomfortable. But I'm not the kind of spiritual guy that want to sit you on my knee like Santa Claus. Little boy, little girl, what you want and all that. I'm here to tell you the truth. And I hope that's enough to make you free. All right? That's my gift to you, the gift of divine truth. Right. All right, next question. Church, let's go with it, family.
Okay, look, I got one. I want to piggyback off of what Unc was saying. Can we go to the Holy Tablets to find that information out?
Yes, we can. Hold on. You all get a Holy Tablet, and if you don't have one, go on Google and punch in Holy Tablets, Dr. Malachi Z. York, PDF, and you'll go there, right? Right now. And all you get spiritual packages from me, you got Holy Tablets and Injil and all those on disc, on CD, and it's easier to work and clearer than the actual book. So if you haven't got a spiritual package yet, you better get one soon. And don't die with your money grabbing on it. I ain't spending no money on that foolishness. Know that all the money that you can incur, if you can get millions of dollars, you know that with every second that passes, you're getting further from birth and closer to the grave. And all the things and people you think that love you, when they drop you in that hole, you ain't gonna hear nothing but footsteps walking away from you. Even your dog will stay there longer than people. And all these people you think care about you, the only thing they're gonna be arguing about all the way home is who gonna get what of whatever it is you left behind. Again, I'm not trying to be cold, but the only one gonna be there with you is the Creator. And he better have a smile on his face. He better have a smile on his face. Right? So get to the Holy Tablet. Just a minute. I ain't trying to scare people, Harry. But I'm trying to tell them the truth, and I hope that wake them up. You hear me, Hotel? It's not a game. It's the realest thing under the sun. There's nothing realer than divine truth. Nothing more powerful, nothing more valuable. All right, we're going to go to chapter 7. You take that fan and turn it off at that dock. You got your book, sister? Okay, chapter 7. All right. And all of us at 10:30, you all, that's real disciples, gonna move stars. Anybody here from London? It is time for you all to prove to the world again for the millionth time who and what you are. And diagram in the Holy Tablets, diagram 105 in the softback, the human body turning itself into a ship. So I want y'all to know that y'all are those crafts. When you fly at night in a dream and all that is real. We're going to start in chapter 7, tablet 1. Lo, the living soul, lo, Anu, Ilionel, who is praised, and the supreme, the most high, the highest, who created the creators, who made the makers, who fashioned the fashioners, who is the originator of the originators, builder of the built things, before the first and after the last. Once you were out of love of yourself and compassion for yourself, then and only then can you overstand the physical world in which you reside, and which you overstand through what you think to be your five senses. But in reality, when you did lay in the laboratory of Shimti, in time gone by, there was removed from you your barotheric gland. This maimed you and cut you off from random access to the divine. Originally, you had what was called Nitir Tatin, the seven senses that Rahubat, verse 11, we on tablet 1 of chapter 7. So you want to read, Lamona, chapter 7, starting at the beginning. Now, verse 11. The seven, I know when you get your book, the seven senses that could activate seven higher senses, and even higher until you ascend back into divinity. But you are trapped by one sense, touch, which is multiplied by deception to 5. For to see light, touch nerve centers, to smell particles, touch nerve centers, to hear sound waves, touch nerve centers, and to feel you reach and touch things. What he's saying is that you're trapped in this illusion because all of your five senses are located centrally on your face, to see, smell, hear, taste, etc., and feel, because you can feel your face, and that makes you think this is real. You can see with your physical eyes, not your mind's eye. Smell with your olfactory nerves inside of your nostrils, and hear with your ears. See, hear, feel, smell, and touch. These are all five senses that are multiplied by deception into making you think that this is real, the physical world. Okay, and you 16, and to feel you reach and touch things which activate your nerve centers. They multiply this one sense, the sense to really know, to see, hear, taste, smell, and feel. The removal of the barotheric gland removed the four higher senses, which were telepathy, psychometry, clairvoyance, and intuition. The sense is necessary for random access throughout the boundless universe, and trapped you in the state of... Let it be recorded, good. And trapped you in a state of cause and effect. It should have been recorded all the time. To and fro, up and down, good and bad, in this world of cause and effect. You were made human, given the lesser knowledge, which controls you. Stop making noise. Things being investigated, knowledge became complete. Their knowledge being complete, their thoughts were sincere, their hearts being rectified, their persons were cultivated. Their persons being cultivated, their families were regulated. Their states were rightly governed. The whole kingdom was made tranquil and happy. Necessary to overstand the spiritual realm in which you would be using all seven senses, thereby rendering you an Elohim. Then even higher onto your nine senses, rendering you an etheric being, which is the true world of causes, not effects now. The things of the world and its inhabitants are subject to change. And you have to know in the new heaven and new earth, when you leave this physical realm, including that body, you've turned yourself inside out to a spiritual being, and once you're a whole life spiritual being, you still can see, hear, feel, smell, taste, and touch, and much more than you can with this physical body. Because your mind's eye, for example, has a much more powerful muscle matrix than your physical eyes. Your physical eyes are weak, and they're restricted to the parameters of the room you're in. You can't see past the floors, walls, and ceiling. But with your spiritual eye, you can see your mother's face, or your relatives in another city or state. You can see through the wall and see your car, and you can see the future or the past. That's right. You've had dreams, and a week later something happened. You told the person next to you, I saw this in my dream a week ago. Now, you can't remember the future. That's the all-seeing eye can see everything. It's much more powerful than your physical senses that you think is so great. Okay, then even higher, on to your nine senses, rendering you an etheric being, which is the true world of causes. The things of the world and its inhabitants are subject to change. There are combinations of elements that existed before, and all living creatures are what their past actions made them. For the law of cause and effect is uniform and without exception. The seven descending planes being Khanum the potter, the apt heart of Anu, Elilu the source, who is Elion Elion El, the abode called Lahut, from which the name Elilu, the appointed by Al-Kulum, the all from which all originated, the source of the divine reality, spark of life. Life is the time you spend in your cat body on Earth or other planets. From the moment of conception between the sperm and the ovum, there is life, divine or otherwise, in other words, devils. Prior to fertilization, there was a 3-month preparation inside of the female and the male. This is actually the first 3 months of life of the human being. Once the egg is fertilized by the male sperm, the child is already in the 4th month of life. So a woman carries a child for 12 months, and not 9 months, that you have been led to have faith. The true source of divine truth, the guardians of Anunnaki, the source of the mental plane of Ak, spirit, and Ba, soul, where thoughts are formed, the source of the spiritual plane, where the emotions are manifested, the source of the plane of force, where the force is between voluntary and involuntary actions, which life substance is manifested by that. When you say you want to lift your hand, that's a voluntary action. But if you walk by a lawnmower and a rock comes close to your eye and you blink your eye, or you start sweating because it's hot, that's involuntary action. You're not in control of that. The source of the material, governor, and your body is 99% total submission, only 1% free will. You don't have to wake up every night and make sure your heart is beating and you keep breathing. Somebody's doing that for you. That's the creator. Be respectful. Governor of carnal desire, material, not spiritual, where Anu Elilu, who is also Elion Elionel, to rule over the heavens and the planet, who is called Yahah or Jahab by the Mitzraymites, or those of Kemet, that means Egypt. This became Yahweh from Yah, good, and Weh, evil, being called the light of the heavens and the earth by those who worship the sun, like the Christians, and placed in the heart of Elilu, the source, who is called Allah, by many. All right, hold on. The plane of force is a plane about which the human mind cannot conceive the knowledge concerning it. For he, Elilu, is the all-knowing, the all-wise, the supreme being. He, Elilu, and you should have no other Elilu with him, simply La ilaha illallah. Say in your heart, I have faith by way of Allah as he is, by using all of his names and acknowledging all of his special qualities, by accepting them in your heart and reciting it with your tongue, and declaring, I would be faithful to Allah and all of the messengers, or Melaikat, Anunnaki Elohims of Allah, and all of the scriptures of all of those Rasul sent forth by Allah, who is Anu, for guidance, and in a final day, when all actions will be judged, according to whether agreeable or disagreeable. All of this comes from Anu Elilu, right up until death. There are 2 lives, life on earth and life after physical death. Death is the door which takes you from one stage in life to the next stage of higher life. If the person was a highly spiritual person, that soul will pass at once to the planes, or even bypass the planes, and go into the heavens or other galaxies from where their soul and ether being originated, with the help of the elder Anunnaki, the Egigi, the heavenly host of 24 elders who sit around the throne called Shiyut. You should not weep at natural death, but rejoice and welcome the presence of the Elohim. The Anunnaki bless you with old age, which allows the body to rest from the harmful activities that we indulge in every day. Old age prepares humans for the inevitable judgment, so escape not from the possibility of becoming elderly. For it is an honored gift that not everyone receives. Ye may weep for murdered victims of accidents or illness, and life cut off before old age. You can weep for the pain they felt, not for the transfer from this world to the next. You cannot take from all, and you cannot add to the all. The all merely shares, and you become, let me explain about the new heaven and new earth. When you there in the spiritual heaven and you left your body behind, that means when he says there'll be no more hunger, no more thirst, no more death, no more pain, no more crying, for the former things will have passed away. That means that when you're in the spirit, you can't get hungry, you can't get cold, you can't be shot or cut, you can't get sick, you don't die. You understand? No, there'll be no more thirst, no more hunger, no more death, no more pain, for the former things will have passed away. What those clouds left behind. You follow what I'm saying? That's right. So everybody talking about I want to hear all that spiritual stuff right there. You dead already. Okay. You cannot take from all. You cannot take from all. Okay,
Messiah,
104.
it's 10:27.
Okay, it's 10:27. It's time for y'all to start performing some miracles. Let me read a little bit more. Y'all go outside so you can see the stars. The all merely shares and you become. The plane of divine reality is the mental spark, the essence of being, the light of the life in human beings, a divine spark, reflected spark from Anu, Ilionel, the Most High, the highest. Now, who sees the first star that they're going to move tonight?
I do.
Okay, you see something?
Yeah, I see the star, Messiah.
All
yeah,
right, what are you going to do with it? I hear you in Florida. You're in Florida. Okay, now we need everybody that's serious to go out there and watch what he does. You'll see what star he's moving. You'll see him moving. All right, which way you going to move it, son? I see it. And I'm inside my bedroom with my eyes closed in the dark while the brothers and sisters here go outside to perform miracles. What you going to do with it, Kim? I see it.
In the name of Amun-Rayay, the one and only true Messiah, star, move up. And it's going up. In the name of Amun-Rayay, the Messiah, the one and only true Messiah, star, drop down. And it's dropping down. It's moving pretty fast.
Now, everybody,
in the name of Amun-Rayay,
you just let everybody know what you see. Okay, go ahead.
In the name of Amun-Rayay, the Messiah, star, move to the left. Moving left. In the name of Amun-Rayay, the Messiah, star, move to the right. And it's shifting right.
Yeah, it dropped down, but I saw it. You just moved one. You want to move them all? You want to move everything you see at once?
Yeah, I see a couple stars. I'll move the creation.
All creation, swing to the left in the name of the Messiah, Amun-Rayay.
It's moving to the left.
Yeah, now all creation go up and over and swing back to the right.
Oh, it's nice. It's going to the right. It's moving fast,
all right. Too. Now, all creation, come closer.
All creation coming closer.
All creation, go back out. Exhale. All creation, raise up.
All creation going up. Sorry.
All creation, drop down in the name of the Messiah. And I want y'all to know, this is not about no figure that's charismatic to religion. It's not all about the Amun-Rayay show, because everybody gets their new name for me, has what in their name? Amun. So whenever you all move, start to perform a miracle or heal anybody, you're doing it in the name of Amun, because Amun is your name, if you with us, okay? I just want to let y'all know how we do it here, because there is no big or small in the eye of all, right? Okay,
correct.
Now what verse are we on? What verse are we on, family? Okay, 108. We're going to get to where you're trying to go, sister, in just a minute. Okay, 109. manifesting itself as effect. Light disturbed the supreme balancement of darkness and created individualism, or a focal point which manifested there as opposed to here. This spark is in each individual, making them a supreme being unto beings known as Anunnaki, Elohims, then unto human beings as they fall, right? Unto humans, unto men, unto mammal, unto beasts like man. As ether being, rulers of the agreeable Anunnaki seraphim, who can incarnate on behalf of human beings, and of the disagreeable Anunnaki cherubim, who can incarnate on behalf of man and man-beast, having both male and female gender. For in the spirit, Zachar, son of Atum, and his wife Lilith, and Nekeba, daughter of Ptah, and his wife Anath, are one being. Thus you, Zachar, are Nekeba, and you, Nekeba, are Zachar. He is also called Adam. It is on this plane where the mental spark is formed, the shell of the spiritual body of Zachar, ruler of Nasut, or abode of the Enocytes, or forgetful beings. I'm trying to get y'all to remember. A spark of divine consciousness leading to the development of the human soul. Being in the likeness of the Anunnaki and Anu, Alilu, the most glorified and exalted light, as a child of the Elohim. This spark of consciousness, this mental spark that radiates a part of itself to the planes below it, it projects down to the spiritual plane and forms what you call the soul. It is the light of Anu, Elila, most glorified and exalted, becoming life. The spiritual body, or ethereal you, is the shell of the soul. The spiritual body will be visible as ethereal form to those close to the deceased. This is the spirit together with the 2.5 of soul. And the breath of life is the last thing to leave the body. The spirit then becomes drowsy and sinks into the preliminary sleep of the spiritual plane. The spiritual body houses the soul of the spiritual etheric plane. When the breath of life ceases to exist in human beings, the ethereal cord and the spiritual body is cut, like when a baby is born, the umbilical cord is cut, right? Allowing this person to live an extended and independent ethereal life, much like when a baby is born. The umbilical cord is cut from the mother, which he or she once depended upon. The baby comes out and begins a whole new life. The soul is greater than life because when life is no more, the soul remains forever. And because the soul is greater, it gives you your will to live or die. When a person dies, the soul and the breath of life is the last thing to leave the physical body. The soul is attracted by bacteria, and form is shaped around it. A body by the hand of the Anunnaki, most glorified and exalted ones, the benevolent beings. On the arms of Enki, Israel, the angelic being of death, son of Anu and Id, built on the atoms of the physical plane, it manifests as a mortal, body and spirit, giving birth to a living soul. The body, the spirit, the living soul, is a successor of the earthly plane. Son of the Anunnaki, Zachar, you were born of the will of Anu, Elilo, a living soul. The mental sparks all connected through the spiritual umbilical cord, the etheric cord, the planes, the plane of divine truth, spiritual perfection and attainment, a plane exempt from all carnal desires, supreme spiritual bliss. It is the level of consciousness, which is the daily expression of those you call the ranks of angelic beings, coenzodic priests, the 23 elders, Akatriel, Anaphiel, Azabuga, Beriuel, Kemuel, Kekaliel, Galgaliel, Haniel, Ufuel, Jehuel, Madarin, Raguel, Quadison, Radu Ariel, Razuel, Rikbiel, Mahi, Samuel, Yanan, Suriel, Yephafia, Zagzago, and Sandalphon. That's the one you call Jesus. The 4 and 20th seat is open to all the news bearers, and the 25th is the one of the 24 who takes the seat of overseer. And you know, in this book, Concentration Patriarch, he says that Amun is the overseer of the heavens and earth. As the 19th, and that's my number, becomes the 25th in the renewal of history. So that lets you know that Amun was the 19th Imam after Muhammad, was the 19th. Okay, 172, the 19th becomes the 25th in the renewal of history, which takes place every equinox, or 25,000 years. Nearest to the heart of Anu, Elul, most glorified and exalted. It is the school of the Anunnaki, of the green light, from where they have the ability to personify as 12 times 12. That's 144. It is here that one is translated from a mental state into that divine state. The mental plane is the plane of the chosen. Rejoice at the glad tidings. The chosen one, our master, has found the root of all evil. He has shown us the way of salvation. The chosen one dispels the illusions of our mind and redeems us from the fears of death. The chosen one, our master, brings comfort to the weary and sorrow-laden. He restores peace to those who are broken down under the burden of this life. He gives courage to the weak when they were at times then ready to give up self-reliance and hope. The chosen one has proclaimed the truth. Let the truth of the chosen one dwell in your hearts, extinguishing yourselves every desire that antagonizes the chosen one. And in the perfection of your spiritual growth, you will become likened to him. Those of you here which cannot or will not develop into the chosen one must perish. For it is the source of your error. It is the cause of your misery. Those of you who, through flashes of intuitive illumination from a higher source, and are able to perceive that which the ordinary human perceives not, the chosen is that one who finds his normal consciousness level, expressing a bright light from within the inner sun at the seat of the solar plexus. And these people have seen that bright light around me. This plane is the midway plane between the human being and the supreme being, where all of those, the angels called the Melchizedek, spiritually meet, where they adorn their crimson crown, and you listen to hear the tassel bell of happiness sound, where their heart is wrapped with the noble sash, a token of authority, dignity, power, honor, and reward. One is a symbol of glory and remembrance of their great path, as they raise in height from degree to degree. 720, you hear me, sister? 720 is what they will be. 360 mastered the physical, and all 360 opens the way to the spiritual hall. 7 and 20, 9 to the ninth power of 9. At this point, you become Lord over space and time, knowing no depth and no height. Raised from the darkness of ignorance to the intellectual light, endures all temptations when he is tried. A crown that is his own, the jacket with the wings of an angel is worn. Thus you have your inner pyramid power, meaning the fire. Mid means the center, the nose on the face inhales the oxygen that ignites the sun in the middle of your chest where the lotus breastplate sits. And the son of the Anunnaki, most glorified and exalted one's Malachah, which is ruled by Malachazul Duck. Plane of divine love, for compassion not yet comprehended by human beings, but will be, of which earthly love is only a reflection. A compassion that realizes not only the self, but expresses a compassion which can encompass all. Now, for more clarity, let's go back to verse, 186. Let the truth of the chosen one dwell in your hearts, extinguishing yourselves every desire that antagonizes the chosen one. And in the perfection of your spiritual growth, you will become likened to him. Those of you here which cannot or will not develop into the chosen one must perish, for it is the source of your error. It is the cause of your misery. Those who, through flashes of intuitive illumination from a higher source, and are able to perceive that which the ordinary human perceives not, the chosen is that one who finds his normal consciousness level, expressing a bright light from within the inner sun at the seat of the solar plexus. So we're talking about that etheric sun in your solar plexus. That was the breath of the Most High that gives off that light and heat inside of you that directs your aura or makes you maintain a constant body temperature of 98.6 regardless of outside temperature. So if it's 30 degrees outside and ice on the ground, you still have a body temperature of 98.6 because of that inner light. It's how you burn calories and how you get hot and raise up the kundalini. It's why your breath is hot, why you exhale carbon dioxide. That means there's a fire burning. Whenever you're taking in oxygen and throwing off carbon dioxide, look it up. That means there's a fire burning inside of you. Again, that's how you burn calories. So there is a fire going inside of you. You follow me? And that is light is the life in man. That is the part of you that belongs to the Most High, and it's eternal. Unlike your body, which is only a fungus clinging to the light. Be ye not deceived, beloved. Now let's go on from there. 193. The chosen is that one who finds his normal consciousness level, expressing a bright light from within the inner sun at the seat of the solar plexus. This plane is the midway plane between the human being and the supreme being, where all of those the ancient mystical order of Melchizedek spiritually meet. So we're not here in the physical, we're meeting in the spiritual, where they adorn their crimson crown. In your ancient mystical order of Melchizedek, you all had a crimson or a red crown or fez. The ones that were angelic beings, they had a white fez, and Malachi, York, and I had the black fez. That means Lahut, or those that was one with the Most High. So you had the red or crimson crown for those that's national to the earth, the white fez for the angelic beings that's still on Malakut, and the black for the supreme beings that are still in tune with the Creator Most High. Right? Now let's go on further. Okay, being with all those angels of Melchizedek spiritually meet, where they adorn their crimson crown, and you listen to hear the tassel bell of happiness sound. Well, the tassel bell of happiness is symbolic of a bell. When you see it has a tassel in the middle of it, that long stem with the ball on the tip of it, so when that rings, that's the tassel bell of happiness sound. Now that tassel bell with the stem on it, it represents you as a spiritual being, like Bennett, flying across the sky at night. You call it a shooting star, and you have that tail behind it. That's the stem on the tassel, the bong in the bell, and the ball at the end of it is you, the spiritual you, that light that's inside your solar plexus, when it's free from the body, either in death or when you sleep at night, because sleep and death are like brothers and sisters. And every night your spirit raises up in terms of the light cord of your spine up to the crown molar, and you have an etheric cord attached to it, like the umbilical cord attached the baby to the mother. That light raises up in the temple in vibration, cause that etheric cord to expand in the opening, so it's wide enough to accommodate that light. Then that light travels out of the temple of your body into that hollow tube, and you feel like you're flying and floating and traveling in a dream. After you get through traveling, you feel like you're falling, you got scared, but you never hit the ground. You didn't come from the ground. You slid back down that tube and dropped back into your head to reanimate the flesh. And if you tried to move too fast, you couldn't. They said it was a witch riding your back. It's sleep paralysis, because you have to be as supportive, patient enough to allow that light to travel back down the light cord of your spine and yet properly receive it in the solar plexus, so it can trigger electrical impulses to cause your fingers and hands to move and your feet so you can stand up and operate that car or that body again. You follow me? All right. Now, there where their heart is wrapped with the noble sash, a token of authority, dignity, power, honor, and reward, as a symbol of glory and remembrance of their great path, as they raise in height from degree to degree, from 180 to 360 to 720, as they raise in height from degree to degree, 720 degrees, right, is what they will be. 360 masters the physical. That means when you have that fez, that the bottom hole that goes on your head, that 360-degree circle represents the physical plane. And the top of that fez, that 360 circle represents the spiritual plane. And that tassel bell that's on top of it that hangs down on it, that represents that tassel bell of happiness or Bennett. Because that ball on the top of your head is the real spiritual you that's inside your solar plexus. And the streamer that goes on that tassel is the tail that flies behind Bennett when you see the falling star go across the sky. So that ball on top of your head is you when you're outside the body in the spiritual plane on top 360. And that tail on it is the streamers that run behind that light of you when you're outside either dreaming or you leaving your body. And you see them flying across the sky as Bennett or what you call a falling star. That's people traveling outside their body in their sleeping things or even in death all the time. Right? And sometimes you think it's a falling star. All right. Now, as they raise their great path, as they raise in height from degree to degree, 720 is what they will be. 360 master the physical, the small, the hole on the top of your head around the hat, on the bottom of the physical, and all 360 opens the way to the spiritual hall. The top of the feathers is also a 360-degree circle that represents the spiritual hall. That's why the tassel is attached to the spirit that topped the ball and that streamer tail behind it, right? Which opens the way to the spiritual hall. 7 and 29 to the ninth power of 9. At this point, you become Lord over space and time. You know, you can see the past, the future, or participate in the future. You know no depth and no height. Raised from the darkness of ignorance to the intellectual light. Endures all temptations when he is tried. A crown that is his own, the jacket with the wings of an angel is worn, right? So then you become God at 720. You hear what I'm saying now a little clearer, Aunt?
Yes.
All right. Did everybody understand? I love you. Is everybody understanding that better now?
Sure.
About how you...
Yes.
I want to make sure... It's not any good if I'm just talking. I love you. I just want to make sure you all understand what's happening here and what we're striving to do and what we're striving to become. This is a real path, a real way to transform from mortals into gods. That's what I'm here to do, right? That's why in Letters from Yanun he said, you and I have the power to lift a stone with our mind, you know, and that you and I have taken that long walk on that short path. I am a spiritual master. I am that Messiah that you've all been waiting for. And you don't have to believe it because I can prove it to you if you have patience to walk with me. And it's not about me being no big Willie. It's not that. And don't let nobody tell you that. A real spiritual guide is not here to show you who he is. He does that only for one reason, so that you can know that he's the one that was sent to, and he's qualified to guide you into the reality of who and what you really are. You are God. That's what the question was. And the answer is, yes, we are gods. The first question that Sky or Amanda had is, the answer is yes, we are gods, potentially. But you have to take that long walk on that short path with me. All right? Because there's nobody else here. Malachi's time is up. He ruled the first half hour from 1970 to the year 2000. The second half hour is Amun-Rayay's time to rule from 2000 to year 2030. It's my time, so walk with me. Be not deceived, beloved, and get out your own way. Tick-tock. Send in your donations and write your testimonies and stay close. We are one love. Your servant, Nitir Authority, Amun-Rayay Asa, Messiah to the 144,000. Peace.